Hello, hello, hello. I know it's been a minute. Well, not really. It's been a week. But I would tell you why I'm coming a little earlier today. I wanted to test out the time and see how that would go. Yay! I was hoping to take advantage of the natural lighting, but I'm seeing that there is no natural lighting come through, so I had to put my light on here. So let's get her a little brighter. Hello, hello. How is everybody doing? You know we have our jazz going as per usual. If it's your first time watching, welcome. My name is Coach Yema. I am the author of the book, Good Sex. It is for single women who are seeking after sexual wholeness, who are tired of the cycle of bad relationships, bad feelings after relationships, maybe one night stands, and all those different things. You want to get healed and set free from all those. So I wrote that. I take you through 10 steps on how to get sexually whole. Okay, and usually I do the show at 10 o'clock at night. I told you all that we're going to be doing 26 episodes this season, and then we'll take a break. So today is episode 23. Normally I try to pin a comment, but I'm not going to attempt to do that because it doesn't work. So here's normally what I pin. Welcome. When you come in, let me know your name so I can introduce you, because I can't see. I can only see the number that's live, but I can't see exactly who's coming on unless we are friends. Okay? And then comment, like, share the video, invite your girlfriends, invite your sisters, your cousin, your baby mamas, or whoever into the conversation so we can get this going, because we all have to be a part of this larger conversation of healing and wholeness, right? So let's just do a quick update of what I've been up to. So about a week ago, I took a 13-hour drive to North Dakota to see some family on a complete whim, which was so beautiful. I talked to one of my friends as I was on my way up there and thinking, what am I doing? And my friend told me, well, you're just flexing your freedom, right? And I had a really fun weekend. I mean, my nail's gone, this nail's all broken. Like, it was a lot of fun. I jumped in the car, my puppy was in the car with me, and her name is Molly. She is the perfect car dog. She refused to use the bathroom until we got actually to North Dakota, and did the same thing on our way back till we got home. My little nieces loved her. There was a 2-year-old in the home who was kind of like scared in the beginning, but then like she started chasing the dog around, which was super funny, and it was great to see. And they didn't want me to leave, but it wasn't me they didn't want to leave. They didn't want Molly to leave. So that was just really good. I was able to still talk to my clients and do my breakthrough calls while I was out there and do work, so I took my laptop with me. And so it was just the first time that I really got to just be in my freedom with my company, with my business, right? So 3 months ago left my job, and so I've been full-time in my business that I've been running for quite a while now. And so hello, it was the first time I was actually able to just like go and experience the thing that I have been praying for, which was freedom over my own schedule, freedom over my own time, and to do the thing that I love, which is talk about sex and help people get sexually whole and get free. So that was just beautiful. That's what I've been up to, and just really getting adjusted to my puppy, because I adopted her about a week before, like maybe 4, because we left on Thursday. So I adopted her on a Sunday. So about 4 days later, her and I are in the car. I'm sure she's thinking like, who just adopted me? She is full on cray, right? But it was a good time. I had a fabulous time, met beautiful people. I love meeting people. I love talking to people and just getting to know, not surface conversations. I'm not a surface conversation kind of person, so I was able to get really deep and talk to them, and it was really fun, and got to explore. It was just it was a good time, okay? So that's what I've been up to, and then I'm working on the business and having conversations with God and just getting really deep and really clear about my purpose, about commitment, about working my business with joy and with gratitude, and to realize truly that I am living in an answered prayer, right? And so, because I can get in the business and forget, and I told you all before, I have a Facebook group for Christian moms of teenage daughters, and I've switched and shifted my energy from the public page so much to those women that are in there, because they are my clients, my potential clients, and so I'm pouring more into them and being more intentional and, you know, nurturing that group more. So that's what I've been up to. This week, what I want us to talk about, what I posted, I think maybe 3 or 4 days ago, was about sexual IQ, because we all know that we have an intelligence quotient, right, which is IQ, and we have an emotional IQ, but we also have a sexual IQ, right? And so when I posted it, everyone was like, what are you talking about? So this is what I'm talking about. If you put in the comments what you think, if we were to rate your sexual IQ from 1 to 10, where would you be? Right? 10 being like, I am like the smartest or the highest IQ sexually, and then 1 like, I don't even know what that even means. I don't even know how to spell sex, right? So where would you rate yourself? Put it in the comments, all my live viewers and my replay viewers, because I will come back and I will read them. So tell me what you think it is, okay? So let me define for me, because as we're on here, I'm going to be bringing you new definitions, because I want us to start having a new conversation around sexuality. And I always tell you, sexuality and spirituality are 2 sides of the very same coin, is the same thing, but 2 of flip sides of the same thing, right? I'm actually looking over, because I'm sitting here at my my window in front of my house. Hey, Holly, because I was trying to get the natural light in, which is no point because now it's dark. So anyway, so I apologize if I keep looking. There's like a random car driving by. Anyway, so sexual IQ, right? So it's not about knowing the techniques around sex itself, okay? So it's not any of that. Do I know how to... whatever it is. I know some people are thinking that's not what I'm talking about when I talk about sexual IQ. I'm actually going to read. I'm going to tell you what my definition is. But if you go online and you search what's your sex IQ, like you'll find sites like BuzzFeed and all these different things, and they're going to start, thank you, they're going to start talking about if you know how to please a person this way, or you know how to do this technique and all that. That's not what I'm talking about. What I am talking about, you know, my definition of sexuality, right, is our desire to know and to be known. Okay, so that's sexuality. So your sexual IQ is your ability, right, to know and to be known, and your ability to relate to someone in a sexual, romantic, sexual doesn't mean sex, okay? It doesn't mean sex. Sexual is not sex. But in a sexual relationship, this is something that I know as I was studying and looking into it and just seeing the definitions out there, because it came to me. Hey, Maros. It came to me and I was like, I don't think that's really the goal here, because people have kids in high school, right? These young adults in high school, and academically, we're really focused on their IQ. Right? We want them to be smart, we want them to get to a college and get the good job and all those different things. But I was someone who had a 4.0, actually a higher than a 4.0 GPA in high school, and graduated top of my class and got to college and made all of the mistakes because my sexual IQ was 0. Right? I had no idea how to navigate sexuality. I had no idea how to be in a relationship. I had no idea how to be vulnerable and how to be intimate with someone, how to set boundaries with someone. I had no sexual relationship management skills at all, right? And so the idea of don't do this and don't do that is actually killing your ability and actually lessening your sexual IQ level, okay? So you and I together for the next 2 days, including today. So this is just a quick introduction. I was trying out the time to see if it would work, so I'm not gonna stay on here for super long. But I wanted to introduce the conversation and introduce the topic so we can start talking about it. So I'm gonna read on here. I'll just click on the first episode. Let's see what it says. Not episode. I don't know what I'm thinking. On the first article and see what it says. So as you go, when they're testing your IQ, it's asking the question, how big is the average erect penis? Which form of contraception is most effective? What is the average time it takes, like, for a man to ejaculate during sex? So it's really about the techniques about sex. So with everything that we do, 80% of what we do is our psychology. Only 20% is the technique, right? So you have the books, you have all that different stuff. That's fine. That's not a big deal. You don't have to worry about it. And the major thing even about techniques is that it changes with every person that you're with. So you majoring on the 20% of sexual techniques is not actually increasing your sexual IQ, which is what I thought when I was younger. And so I went out realizing, right, as an academic, realizing that I had no idea how to be in these types of relationships as an adult. I went out looking for books, but I didn't go out looking for books that talked about my emotions, or I talked about my psychology, or talked about any of the areas surrounding. What was the thing I was going to share with you all? Give me a second here. So it wasn't looking at my mental, emotional state. It wasn't looking at my social, my ethics around sexuality at all. The only thing, sexual IQ, that you will hear them talk about is only focused on the physical. It is not even the physical that has to do with you, right? Because it's not really about you owning your pleasure. It's about you as a woman, for women in society, giving yourself away for the pleasure of somebody else. So it's like, how do you please this person? How do you be there for this person? So it's nothing about you. Your sexual IQ level, one of the factors that determines it is how well do you know yourself, right? How in love with yourself are you? How well do you know your body? How well do you know your pleasure landscape? If you're my friend, you've heard me talk about that a lot. I introduced that topic to my friends about 6 to 7 months ago. Actually, a little longer. I think I started doing it and really exploring that topic in January. So I've been talking about that for a while. But do you know your pleasure landscape? Do you know what about you makes you feel good and all those different things, right? And so not so much sexually, but just in pleasure. And I'm assuming the terms that I'm using when I'm sharing these things is that you've listened to the previous episodes, because I can't rehash everything that we've talked about, because I'm assuming that you've listened. And so the terminology, right, because you come into this world with Coach Yema, right, into the world of sexual wholeness and sexual liberty, there's a different language that we're going to use that is different from the language that maybe the sex positive world is using. So I'm going to be redefining, and I do redefine a lot of that, especially as a Christian, or as I consider myself a kingdom citizen. Especially as a kingdom citizen, there's different ways that I define that is going to be important for you to understand and know as you're going to be a part of the conversation, so you can ask questions, right? So I'm assuming you know about the pleasure landscape. I'm assuming that you know, not maybe specifically the pleasure landscape, but that you understand that when I speak about pleasure, I'm not only talking about sexual pleasure. I'm talking about the things that you love to eat, the places you love to go, the things that give you joy, the things that excite you, the thing that you desire after that, when you fulfilled, fills your heart up with joy, right? So that's what I'm talking about. So part of your sexual, one of the first things we're going to talk about with your sexual IQ is how well do you know yourself, right? How well do you know you? Because it's not the amazing, beautiful thing about sex and sex specifically itself, the act of that, is that the most pleasure that you can get, that you will receive in those places, is really when you are your most vulnerable, that you feel the safest, right? And that actually you are really about yourself being pleased. If you go into a sexual encounter all about the other person, and this is for the grown folks, we have a grown folk conversation, but my clients that are watching this as well, and my potential clients, my moms of teenage daughters, these are things that is important to communicate to your kids, because they found, I think with Dutch children, because they speak more about the pleasure of sex and how it's supposed to be, and not so much of you stay away and slapping your hand away from all these things. They talk more about the joy of sex and the pleasure of it. The kids in those environments are actually delaying sexual activity a lot longer, because there's a positivity around it and not this fear, prickly based like conversation that tends to happen, right? Like, don't do it, don't do that, you're gonna get in trouble. Like, all of that it's part of you being smart about it, but it's not the only thing that you should be talking about, because you're trying to set your kids up for future success. So like eventually they're going to be in relationships, in committed relationships, where they're going to engage in sexual activity, and you don't want that to be a part of their life, where they're carrying all of the don'ts, right? And they carry that into the relationship, and the don'ts have stopped them from actually knowing who they are, right? So we don't want that. So the number one thing about our sexual IQ is how well do you know yourself? How well do you love yourself? How well do you know your body? How much time have you spent in the mirror exploring who you are? I know it sounds kind of scary, but this is for women and men too if you're watching. I'm not going to discriminate on this topic because it's very important for us all to know. So if I'm reading like the BuzzFeed thing about sexual IQ that's very basic and very physical and completely ignores mental, emotional, social, and ethics about sexuality, right? Does wearing a condom affect how long you last? Is the average clitoris is the size of a pea, lime, or courgette? I don't know how you pronounce that word. So like all these random physical, they're not random, I would say they're physical aspects of sex, but they're only 20% of your sexual IQ. So you knowing how to do something really well. I know when I was younger, there was this attitude around sexuality, especially as teenagers. I didn't have sex in high school, and I didn't have a boyfriend or any of that stuff. I was like really focused. I wasn't even allowed to. I was focused on school, but that didn't change me making mistakes and all those things in college. I wasn't ready, right? I wasn't prepared during my teenage years when I should have been for college and to make these decisions. But back in high school, it was all about, oh, this person knows how to do this really well, or can you do this? And it was like a trading off of like your status got higher if you really knew how to do this, or you could talk a really good game. There were actual girls who were actually doing these things, right? I posted an article in the group that Holly shared on her page that I thought, it was written 2 years ago, but I thought was so brilliant and so necessary for us to have a conversation around, which is that teenagers are having sex before they're kissing. And I remember even me, and still this day, some vestiges of that are still, I can still see in myself, where I find kissing a bit more intimate than actually having sex, right? There's still those leftovers of that kind of attitude. And I reading that article, it made so much sense to me of what was happening, and they blamed it on the porn culture, right? They attributed this attitude of where sex was not intimate, anal, oral, masturbation, all of those things were not intimate, right? Or they were saying also that girls were trading off, I'll give you oral sex if you would kiss me. So I'm going to give you something physical, a sexual act, or actually have intercourse with you. This is teenage girls, right? 15 to 19. I would actually give you this physical activity so that you can give me something emotional. Now, for all our grown girls watching this right now, okay? How many times do we find ourselves in that situation? And we talked about it before, where we're trading off, I'm going to give you my body because I want the emotional benefit, right? I want to be turned on emotionally, so I'm going to give you what you need to get to what you need to get, right? And then I'm going to get what I want afterwards, which is maybe the cuddle or the text or take me out to dinner, have a conversation with me. I'm going to do that, right? And even I think some women have started to understand that we do that, and to own, in an effort to own your pleasure, they've started to kind of think like men in this way, where they're like, well, I'm just here to get my rocks off and I'll be gone. I don't need anything else from you, right? But both men and women, and I read it in this book before, that's actually called Sexual Intelligence, right? I've read this to you guys before, where we go into sexuality, we go into sexual interactions where we have a lot more needs that we're actually not speaking about. Like, I want you to make me feel whole. I want you to make me feel accepted. I want you to make me feel complete. And so I'm going to give you sex, right? And then hopefully you're going to give me those needs back. And that is completely wrong. If that is how you're operating in your life, you have a very low sexual IQ. Bloop. I said it. Yes, she did. Okay. if that is how you're operating. So tomorrow, this is a quick one. I just want to come on here really quick to just get back in the swing of things. I did take last week to just get back with clients and get my schedule all figured out and all those different things, and then shift my energy to the group. So I'm gonna come on here really quickly. I'm gonna try, maybe this is 7 o'clock, 7:30, so maybe I'll try 8 o'clock tomorrow and just play with the times. Eventually, after this week, we'll be going live one day a week. So I'm still testing out the different days to see which time. So far, it seems like Wednesday is a really good day. A really good day. So if you have an opinion, if you want to vote on which day is best to go live and time, put that in the comments. So let me see, all my replay viewers, all of my live viewers, put in the comments what day would be really good and what time to have these very juicy, delectable conversations, right? Because we can't ignore it. Sex is all around us, okay? We can't pretend like we don't have opinions about it, and it's very possible that the opinions that you have around sex and sexuality is actually ruining your life. Yeah, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about sex. I need to get the rights to that song so it can be like the theme song to my life. It is the theme song to my life. Let me see if I can find it real quick as we close out, because that would be fun. I do not own the copyrights to this song. Let's see. Who sings that song? It's whatchamacallit, Salt and Pepper, right? Salt and Pepper here. Let me play that as we go out. I think it'll be fun. But that was it, the conversation tonight. So maybe instead of having the hour long, if you all join me, we'll stay longer to have the conversation. But if we're not coming on, I'll come on and teach a little bit and share with you. So for you all who are just joining, we are talking about sexual IQ. One of the indicators to show you that you have a low sexual IQ is if you're still trading emotional needs for sexual activity. Like, I'm gonna give you sex so that you can make me feel good, make me feel secure, make me feel whole, make me feel complete, okay? There is a place for intimacy where there's reciprocity in that, but if that's all you're getting and that's how you're bartering your life, you have a very low sexual IQ, okay? So I'm gonna be defining that for you. I'll be putting the scales up here. Come on, dance with me. I know my neighbors probably like, who is this girl? Because I am live in front of my window that is like directly in front of my house. I was hoping to get the natural light going to try something new, but I was a little bit lazy getting up. So I had some stuff I had to do around the house. And so the walk with the dogs did not happen today, unfortunately. So we'll go early in the morning tomorrow. She has a big backyard. She's fine. It's not an issue. So I hope you're doing well. We'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to pop up. I'm not going to tell you exact time. Somewhere between 7 and 10. We're going to count because the 10 o'clock was really wearing on me. And you see, like, I have no makeup on, right? I've been trying to wash my face with this new thing to clear it out. And I want to come sans makeup. I don't think my face looks too bad, but I got a little lippy on. You know what I mean? Let's talk about sex. All right, so that is it for tonight. We'll get back tomorrow to part 2 of sexual IQ, rating where your sexual IQ is. So I'm going to be giving you tips along the way. So again, if you are trading in sexual activity for somebody to make you feel whole, complete, wanted, to feel attractive and all those things, your sexual IQ is extremely low. And I don't care if you know the regular size of whatever and all the different things BuzzFeed was just asking, how long it takes someone to reach climax, even if you know all those different things, because if that was the case, I have an extremely high sexual IQ, right? But there's more to it than that. There's emotions, there's your psychology around it, right? There's your ethics around it, there's this, your social behaviors around it, right? So let's talk about it. It's gonna be me and you are gonna be having a good conversation, okay? So thank you for watching. Make sure you share the video. Invite your friends tomorrow. I'll pop up, let them like the page, turn on the notifications for me going live. So when I go live, you can jump on with me. We can have a good, sweet, quick, juicy conversation. I'm not gonna call it a quickie. I almost just did. I guess I said it out loud. So, okay. Anyway, I will talk to you all later. Bye.